All right, today we're diving into a really fascinating personal philosophy. Think of it as taking the emergency procedures from a pilot's cockpit and applying them to, well, navigating our pretty turbulent modern world. It's called the pilot's checklist.
And boom, that quote right there is the whole hook. This isn't some abstract head-in-the-clouds theory, right? It's all about translating that high-stakes, super-focused world of a pilot into a real, tangible plan for living, especially when the world feels like it's getting more and more unstable.
So every pilot knows this. The very first step in any emergency is just to acknowledge the problem. That's your Mayday call. And in this way of thinking, the engine failure isn't just one broken part on a plane, it's the big picture recognition that the whole system we all rely on is showing some serious signs of strain.
Okay, what's so cool about this, and what you're seeing here, is how it takes these massive, kind of overwhelming global ideas and just boils them down into something you can actually do. So this huge concept, end of empire, suddenly becomes about reclaiming your own patch of land. Resource reality isn't some abstract economic term. It's about what you can physically grow. It's a way to, stop just shouting at the sky and actually start digging in the dirt.
And wow, this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It shows how the very systems we completely take for granted, like, just hopping on a plane, are actually incredibly fragile. Kunstler here pulls our collapsing empire theme right back into the pilot seat. He's reminding us that these complex machines, they need a constant flow of fuel and money, a flow that might not be guaranteed forever.
Okay, so you've made the Mayday call. What's next? What's the very first thing on any pilot's emergency checklist? It's simple. Aviate. You fly the plane. And in this philosophy, that translates to taking control of your immediate surroundings, your environment. It means you secure your place. For the person behind this whole idea, that meant a very deliberate move to a small village in Transylvania, Romania. And you gotta understand, this wasn't just throwing a dart at a map. No way. It was a really conscious decision to plant roots somewhere with deep history, a place with an orchard of old Saxon apples, a real connection to the land. I mean, this is a village that has survived centuries of change.
And that's really the crucial point here, isn't it? It's this intentional shift towards the tangible, the real. It's about trading that endless, mindless scroll on a screen for the actual feeling of soil under your boots. It's a whole philosophy that's built on physical connection, on real-world work, and on direct experience, not just, digital noise.
Now hold on. This doesn't mean you have to become some kind of Luddite and throw out all your tech. Not at all. Far from it. The very next step on this checklist is to assemble your toolkit. And this is where it gets really interesting, because it's this fascinating mix of the really old and the brand new.
I absolutely love this visual because it captures the whole idea perfectly. Look at this. On one hand, you've got the timeless, practical wisdom from an 1881 settler's manual. We're talking how to grow your own food, how to build things, basic self-reliance. And then, on the other hand, you've got a cutting-edge AI framework. The whole point is that the modern pioneer, well, they need to master both.
And this is exactly what we mean by mastering those new tools. An AI generalist isn't necessarily a programmer, writing lines of code. No, they're a problem solver. Someone who can use these incredibly powerful new technologies to create, to organize, and to build things in the real world. You can almost think of AI as the ultimate Swiss Army knife for the modern homesteader.
And look, getting good with these new tools isn't just some nice philosophical idea. It has real, practical, dollars and cents value. I mean, check out this number. One AI roadmap is projecting a 56% salary premium for people who are fluent in these skills. So that gives you resilience not just out on the homestead, but also in the modern economy, whatever that ends up looking like.
Okay, so let's boil all this down into a clear, actionable checklist you can really wrap your head around. Number 1, reclaim place. That's your physical anchor in the world. Number 2, master old and new tools. That's your skill set. And number 3, cultivate well-being. That's your mental and community foundation. See, it's a totally holistic approach to being resilient.
And this right here gets to the real why behind it all. The ultimate goal isn't just about surviving, it's about healing. The big vision here is to actually combine formal psychiatric knowledge with hands-on stuff like ecopsychology and permaculture. The idea is to create a space that can take all that anxiety and grief that so many of us feel about the state of the world, what's called Earth misery, and actively turn it into something restorative.
So, that brings us right back to our pilot metaphor for this last part. And here's the thing. Sometimes you just can't restart the engine. It's not going to happen. The goal, then, isn't about fixing the problem or preventing the inevitable. It's about navigating the descent with skill, With purpose, you're aiming for a controlled landing, not a catastrophic crash.
But let's be clear, this is not some storybook escape from all of life's problems. This whole philosophy is being put to the test right now, in the real world. There's a really difficult legal battle going on over the very land that's supposed to be the foundation for all this. And you know what? That just proves the point. The checklist isn't about avoiding turbulence, it's a framework for flying right through it.
And here is where you see that toolkit in action. Remember we talked about the old and the new? The Digital Loom Lab is using those 21st century tools, AI, music, digital media, to fight this very personal, very real battle. It is a perfect, living example of using modern tech to defend a deep, ancestral connection to the land. All right, so let's run through that final checklist one more time. First, you acknowledge the instability. That's your Mayday. Then you secure a physical, self-reliant base. That's your place. You integrate ancestral wisdom with modern tools. That's your toolkit. And finally, you focus on personal and ecological well-being, and that is your mindset. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. If you buy the premise that maybe, just maybe, the systems we all rely on are under some serious strain, that the world's engines really are sputtering, then it forces you to ask yourself a very direct, very personal question. What's on your checklist?